Postmodernism in Geography. It is the continuation of my lecture number 1. Postmodernism in Human Geography. Postmodernism emerged in the field of geography during 1980s and onwards. Postmodernism in human geography, basically it's the reconstruction of human geography. It's different from the traditional mode of inspection of the subject. Rather, it opposed to the binary concept that already prevailed in the field of geography, rather human geography. Postmodernism in the field of geography basically opposed the concept of positivist. This is the anti-positivist approach. Postmodernism in human geography follows following attributes. Postmodernism in the field of human geography focuses on the economy or the production system. Up to some extent, it's related to the Marxian ideology. It's rejected the conventional study of geography. All these things governed by the economics. Second thing is that the social differentiation. Postmodernism in field of geography believed in the subjectivity and the differentiation. And third is place, space, and time. Postmodernism, basically technology and power politics related phenomena. And power politics and the technology sometimes related to the place, space, and time. Next is the culture, nature, and environment. Postmodernism incorporate three attributes, that is culture, nature, and environment. It's related to the sustainability. And most important attributes of postmodernism in human geography is a rejection of grand narratives. The postmodern geographer rather than human geographer. Here, due to limited time span, we only selected a few names. First one is the David Harvey, then Edward Shaw, Derek Crowley, Michel James Deere, and Jacques Derrida. David Harvey, British-born American geographer, he introduced postmodernism, rather postmodernism as a method in human geography through his books The Condition of Postmodernity. That book published in 1989, he explained postmodernism in the field of geography through the two basic indicators, that is urbanization or urban planning, and next one is the space and time. He explained all the attributes related to the postmodernity through the Marxist ideology, rather to the viewpoint of capitalistic ideology. The book published by David Harvey, The Condition of Postmodernity. In this book, he explained the postmodernism and in the context of urban planning and urbanization. The content of the book, the same serial number 4, there is postmodernism in the cities, architecture and urban design, and the serial number 13 and 14, individual space and time in social life, and 14, time and space as a source of social power. He explained the concept of postmodernism in the context of time-space compression as well as the urban geography, urban planning, and urban architecture. David Harvey is the first person who introduced the concept of space-time compression in 1990. It is the collapse of space through the time. It is related to the spatial sinking and temporal simultaneity. The world is sinking. It reduces the travel time between the two locations. Due to advancement of transportation and communication technology, reduce the perceived distance between the two places or the two locations. It reduces the travel time and between the two locations. This concept explained by the David Harvey as a convergence of space. This is due to the advancement of air travel, due to advancement of technology, rather information technology, and instantaneous communication. We can cite an example of space-time compression, rather convergence of space. We are all familiar that in 1893, Swami Vivekananda went for the Chicago to attend the World Religious Parliament. He started journey from Chennai to Chicago, and approximately the journey period was 3 months, and journey was through the waterways. The location of Chennai and the Chicago is still fixed, but due to advancement of technology and the advancement of air travel, if someone wish to travel that distance, then it takes 18 to 19 hours. That concept is known as space-time convergence. Okay, we can take another example of communication. If someone wishes to communicate in any person who are in still in very remotest part of the world, but he and she can communicate through the social media, through the net-based platform, through the mass media, and through the email. And that kind of information technology communicating the world within the few minutes. In that way, the cities have become the hubs of global connectivity. Faster communication helps to the economic integration, cultural integration, and that leads to the changes of the individual life. And they can implement others' attitude, others' views within the few minutes. That also leading to the cultural and urban architectural homogeneity. That concept was implemented in the light of postmodernism in urban lifestyle as a space-time compression by the David Harvey. Edward Shaw, American urban theorist, explained the postmodernism through his concept that is the third space. His book named The City, Los Angeles and Urban Theory at the End of the 20th Century, published in 1996. He explained the postmodernism in this book. His concept is related to the third space. Now question is, what is the third space? Third space is the non-binary concept of the space that is different from the conventional concept of space. First space is real space and second space is social space. Real space is the physical space, that is the tangible space when we walk, talk, mountain region, hilly region, urban landscape, rural landscape, all these are example of real earth first space. Second space is the social space uh, that is perceived by the reality or the physical space, that is socio-cultural space like school, college, hospital, so on. Now the question is third space. This is first space, that is physical space. This is socio-cultural space, that is second space. Third space developed by the emerging of two, first one and second one. This is the zone of third space. Third space is derived from the first one, second one. There are few attributes of the third space. Third space is easily accessible to all. Individual can enter in this field and can exit from this field. It is the internet-based platform. It is ever dynamic and ever changing. It removes the physical and socio-cultural boundaries, and it creates the community sense of belongingness. We can take the example of the third space, like it's like an internet-based various social group, various community, media-based viewpoint, all are the hybrid space. Those are related to the concept of third space. Third space is related to the mental state. It is easily accessible. It is a totally egalitarian space, and it's developed by the thinking exchange of the opinion of individual groups of people. The third space concept is not the new one, not invented all of a sudden by the Edward Shaw. Already, Henri Lefebvre, the French philosopher, already implemented that ideology that is known as, according to Henri Lefebvre, that was the lived space, lived space. According to Michel Foucault, That space also known as a heterotopia, heterotopic space by heterotopia. So third space is a new dimension in social geography, cultural geography, and human geography. Edward Shaw explained that that concept already prevailed in the French school of thought by the Henri Lefebvre and Michel Foucault. He implemented that's related to the technology and the internet-based platform and social media-based platform. Derek Rugari, British geographer, he published a book in 1989, Areal Differentiation and Postmodern Human Geography. He interpreted the areal variation in the light of postmodernism. He opposed the concept that was the concept of Richard Hudson, that is the concept of chorology, and he implemented the postmodernism to explain the areal differentiation. He opposed the concept of grand narratives. All the spatial variation, according to Derek, is related to the power dynamic and the spatial organization. Uh, Therefore, areal differentiation is an important attribute of human geography. Derek explained the areal differentiation in the light of postmodernism to explain the place, space, landscape, and the power politics and the strategy, not related to the chorology concept like the Richard Hudsonian concept. Michel James Dear explained the postmodernism through his book, The Postmodern Condition. It published in 2000. This book contained three important attributes in serial number 6 and 7, that is deconstructing of urban planning, 7 is postmodern urbanism, and 14 is the geopolitics of postmodernity. Through these three attributes, he explained the postmodernism. According to Deers, that postmodernism is related to the human geography. Okay, according to him, postmodernism is a tool to deconstructing the human geography. According to Deers, postmodernism is basically a revolt against the rationality of the modernism. The Deers published series of papers. One of his important paper published in 1986, that is postmodernism and planning. In this publication, he explained the postmodernism in three aspects. That is, postmodernism as a style, as method, and as an epoch. And these three attributes of postmodernism, according to Deers, related to the evolution of society over the time and the space. First one is the style. Now, question is, what is the style of postmodernism? Postmodernism style, according to Deers, is basically related to the postmodern urban architecture. Urban architecture, urban planning. Actually, postmodernism is the architectural departure from the modern style. There are several already established architectural style, that is Gothic style, Italian style, traditional European style, traditional Indian temple type. Rejection of all. They are thinking a mixture and playful mixture of all attributes and create a new type of construction, new type of design. We can take an example, okay, from world and as well as from India. This is the Von Venturi house. This is in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. This is a very good looking urban construction and urban design, rather urban architecture. What is the specialty of this architecture? Normally, symmetry is the very important attributes of the modernity of the urban architecture. That is, here the asymmetry plays a very important tools. That kind of structure that is not conventional, that is a new dimension implemented by the urban planners, is an example of style. We can cite an example from the India. We are all familiar with that architecture. That is the Lotus Temple or the Ahai Temple. This is also the important and unique architectural structure, and that architectural structure not following the Toto rules of modernity. That is the symmetrical, but this structure is a asymmetrical pattern. Maybe symmetrical or asymmetrical, that is the new dimension, new way of thinking of urban architecture that is not the conventional. And maybe its few part is borrowed from modernity, few part is borrowed from ancient India, few in modern architecture. That is the assimilation of all these things created new attributes. That kind of style is known as urban architecture. That is the new style in post-modernity. Next point is that the method. Now, question is the what is the uh, urban method? Here, I would like to include one thing before going to the method. Postmodern building or urban architecture becomes self-referent symbol. Its urban unit and its architectural building is example of self, that is the unique in its attributes. So, next is the uh, postmodern methodology. Now, question is what is the postmodern methodology? Postmodern methodology is anti-positivist or the post-positivist. What do we mean by post-positivist? Positivism follows the rules, regulation, and law. Here, it is opposed and reject the rule regulation of law, that is the conventional. Those are the conventional. It includes the deconstruction. It includes the metafixation. It includes the pastis. It's a new dimension of thinking, new dimension of implement of any attributes related to our life. We can also take an example of postmodern methods. Suppose we are all familiar with the conventional Indian kitchen. Lots of modernization has been already implemented in Indian kitchen. Now someone is thinking for create a window that may be hexagonal in a kitchen window, maybe round, maybe semicircular. Those are the own way to implement their own concept, own ideology, own fixation through their construction, through their lifestyle. That is the methods of postmodernism. Basically, postmodernism method is anti-positivist method. They are not the following the conventional rule. It is a deconstruction of old method. Okay. Then suppose in front look is very important in our building, in our beauty context, in face look. Its method is nothing but a playful complexity, playful implementation, playful mixture of of own reflection, own state of mind in their own way. Next, third is the important attributes is the uh, epoch. Epoch is related to time. It's a break from the old, break from the past. It's a radical break from the past. All these things, attributes is related to space and time. Epoch is related to time and space, and it is related to the internet-based platform and net technology. It is better to say epoch is the hyperspace. So attributes, uh, through these three attributes, Deers explain the postmodernism, and it is basically used as a tool to deconstruction of human geography. Jacques Derrida, French philosopher, explained postmodernism in the light of urban geography or the urban planning. According to Derrida, urban units are not fixed or stable entity. Rather, those are constantly being deconstructed and reconstructed through the economic, political, and the social forces. According to the Derrida, deconstruction is an important attribute in the urban planning. What is deconstruction? Deconstruction does not mean the demolition. Deconstruction is the selective dismantlement of the building. Now question is, what is dismantlement of the building in the urban unit? That is the rearrangement, restructuring, recycling, use of renewable energy, waste management. Better to say, the urban deconstruction is related to the sustainability of the urban unit. And according to Derrida, deconstruction means construction in reverse. Uh, Deconstruction has a strong ties with the environmental sustainability. It has environmental benefit like use of non-conventional energy, and it supports the urban unit through the green build up the greenery and the green spaces. We can take a teeny example of the urban deconstruction. In Durgapur, there is a Nagorbon. Nagorbon concept is an example of the deconstruction of the urban unit. Now, few example of urban deconstruction. The concept of smart city is nothing but the urban reconstruction. The smart city of India is Diu has become the first Indian smart city runs on 100% of renewable energy during the daytime. These are the solar pledge. And another example we can cite that is nowadays the skylight concept, the glass dome rooftop, rooftop with glass, even the solar plate in the roof is very popular for the all type of household. This is the example of deconstruction use of renewable energy, flow energy. Those are the example of deconstruction of urban unit. Here I would like to mention one important attribute of the deconstruction of postmodernism according to Derrida. He implemented that postmodernism in urban geography sometimes returned to the older concept of urbanization, sometimes it is related to the inequality and social hierarchy, and sometimes it is related to nostalgia. So now we are going for another example of that. Sometimes we borrowed concept from the old building structure. Sometimes we had become nostalgic in the urban planning. So therefore, we are taking another example of that kind of nostalgia in urban planning. We are all familiar with that ancient Egypt and the famous structure of ancient Egypt. This is the Abu Simbel temple of Egypt, where the sunlight illuminated the specific statue of Ra, Hathor, and Ramses I and II through the specific time period throughout the year, that is from February 22 to October 22. That was a remarkable and architectural monument during this era. This is the ancient concept of urban unit or the urban structure or the old ancient structure. Now that kind of old concept, with help of nostalgia, with the memories of nostalgia, we are using as a skylight concept in solar plate into our day-to-day life. Those are the example of deconstruction, rather the construction in reverse in the case of postmodernism in the urban planning. Postmodernism is a broad and open-ended concept. Postmodernism is ambiguous in the terms, and it is reaction against the modernism or the homogeneity of modernism, rationalism, and functionalism. Postmodernism has received significant criticism for its lack of stable definitions and meaning. Linguistic Noam Chomsky has argued that postmodernism is meaningless because it adds nothing to empirical knowledge. Postmodern geography has moved away from spatial analysis to the social theory. Postmodern geography has been criticized for potentially promoting the intellectual nihilism. Nihilism is the Shunyabad in Bengali. That means this is nothing, this is nothing. Normally, modernity South create the universal language of architecture, of urban planning and urban design. But postmodernism advocates in favor of mixing of style in the context of urban architecture and urban planning. This is very important to explain the urban uniqueness of our modern urban architecture and urban style and urban environmental urban sustainability. But this is not the holistic concept to explain the urbanization or the trend of urbanization or the architectural pattern of urbanization of 20th century. Non-binary thinking of phenomena and thinking out of conventional symmetry is the unique attributes of postmodernism that helps to explain the phenomena related to social geography, cultural geography, human geography, and the urban geography. Another thing is that thinking thinking out of the existing grand narrative also explain the various concepts of social science as well as the social geography. Thinking out of symmetry is the unique attributes of postmodernism that is applied in the various field of urban geography and the social geography. Now, question is, what is waiting ahead of postmodernism? That is the meta modernism. Thank you.